Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to Cruise Amigos live from London. Let me introduce everybody. Of course, I'm Chillie Falls coming to you from Forest, Virginia, right outside of Lynchburg. Now, on the screen down below me, that's John Reitmeyer. He's up in Crookston, Minnesota. And then the guy over there with Big Ben in the background next to John, that's Pete Hall. He started this craziness, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months ago. And our special guest today, and this is a little different type of show than we've done before, but is Patrick Mitchell with Rude Boy Spirits from Jamaica to Cuba to the U.S., and they make good stuff like rum and vodka and stuff. So, Patrick, welcome to the Cruise Amigos.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, welcome.
The best thing for me to do is just throw the floor over to you. Give us some history, because that's the fascinating thing about your company, I think. Some history on how you got to where you are today.
Well, seeing as this is a cruise show, I figured I would start off telling you guys the actual story, not the one that's always on the press and everybody can go to the website and read all about it. This is the actual story. You heard about rum runners in the Caribbean, and since I'm from the Caribbean, I have to do a little bit of that. So long story short is name of the company is Rude Boy Spirits. Spirits being we are the spirit of the Caribbean because we carry that vibe everywhere we go, as well as we own the spirits company. And so we have 4 different products, rum being 3 of them and a vodka being the 3rd. I'll get more into that as we go. But tying it into the cruise line is my cousin started the company years ago and came to me and asked if I would help out and try to get it off the ground and whatnot. And I came, looked at the figures and said, you know what, this looks like something I might want to try out. But we didn't really know where to really start. So partner James Larson and I, we decided, you know what, we love the Caribbean and we love cruising. Let's start this thing out in Bimini. So we decided we were going to try, before any licenses or anything else, we were going to go ahead and try and see what we can do. And before we know it, we were on a cruise on our way to Bimini, and we were setting up shop trying to sell rum between Bimini and Miami. Wow. And that, long story short, we're here. We've got a full-on fledged company now. We can get into all the details as you guys want to. Ask away and I'll tell you more. But that's where it all started.
Is that the photograph of you actually going?
That is, yes. That's James Larson, my business partner. He's one of 4 or 5 of us, depending on how you look at it. But we're out there daily. We were trying to get this thing going, and just the 2 of us decided at that time we were going to go down and try this thing. So I still have the same T-shirt on. Look at that. I made some shirts, and we decided to hit the cruise line. Get down there, and what we had done is we set up with FRS cruise lines.
Is this them?
That's one of their small boats that carries you over from Miami. Actually, I think you leave out of Miami, the port of Miami, and you head over to Bimini. So when you get to Bimini, you do the customs and all that. But on the way over, it was free for all for us. So we were like, cool. What do they want us to do? They said, set up a table, whatever you guys want to do, just do some tasting. So next thing you know, we decided, okay, we're going to go back, set this thing up properly. And we ended up working hand in hand with FRS Cruise Lines and set up tastings, set up music. Yes, there's one of our tastings. So we actually were set up in their bar area. And we allowed, we had reggae music playing, and we had a small crew of music off to the side, and we had everybody coming by and tasting the rum and the vodka, and then if they liked it, they could purchase it. So that's kind of how we got started as far as setting up in the Caribbean. And then when we came back, we were like, people loved it. Everybody was wanting more. We were trying to sell it on the island, but then we realized we had to have licenses. So we haven't been able to go back to Bimini and really full set up shop yet. But
what are they still after you?
No. There's actually some really good resorts over there, and I'm not sure you guys are familiar with Bimini at all. But Bimini is the small Bahamian island way down in the south, so it's not really. A lot of people don't think of it as when you go to the Bahamas because it's such a small island. But I've heard that there's some big cruise lines getting ready to get set up. They're actually redoing the port there.
Yeah.
And part of, I think, I don't know if I'm spilling the beans or not, but I heard Virgin is going down there, Virgin Atlantic.
Wow.
And there's going to be some other cruise lines going from Miami starting to set up rotational cruises as soon as this COVID thing is all over. So our goal is to get back on that cruise line and get down there and start selling in Bimini again.
So Patrick, just so I understand, sorry, Chili, just so I understand, if someone got something on, if you got something a Facebook on, I can hear myself talking. Patrick, so you started on this cruise ship as such, yeah? You went on board with how many bottles would you take on board?
We took a case of each. Our cases are 6 and 12. In that case, we took 12 bottles of each.
So, and the cruise line obviously knew that you were going to do that.
Yes, yeah, we arranged it with them. So we had gone down the first time. It was literally like, let's see if we could get this to work. And when people started loving it, we went back and actually made the proper arrangements and set up. We actually set up our first account with FRS. And then they loved it so much that they were like, yeah, come on board and let's do this. And so that's how we ended up getting down there.
All right, I'm fascinated on one step back in the historical side, from getting from Jamaica to Cuba, to now Tampa.
All right, so that goes back into my family history. So I'm from Jamaica. All my family is from Jamaica, mother and father side. Yes, Jamaica John. Our family goes way, way back, way back. My mother's maiden name was Wright. And there actually was a town at one point called Wright Town. And it's in St. Elizabeth, which is on the south side of the island.
Oh, yeah.
And way back, we're going back to the 1600s, we have found documentation of the first early Wrights. And when I was young, and I'm not young anymore, as you can see, I got gray hair and whatnot. But when I was younger, our tradition was always, whenever we're sitting around in Jamaica, we would go and listen to the elders talk story of the days beyond. So, it was always a special thing to sit down and talk with uncles and grandparents and granduncles and whoever was older, because they always had the greatest stories. They would tell what they call dumpy stories, which are like ghost stories, basically, to scare the kids. And we would always get to hear a little bit of the history. And so for years and years, I kept hearing this history about how the Wrights had so much land from the top of Malvern Hill all the way down to Treasure Beach, which is a huge spread. And I kept saying, well, what happened to the land? And the story was always rum. So we decided, well, okay, we got to figure some way to get behind the truth behind this rum story, because we didn't know if it was a true story or not. And over the years, there was always talk about, we need to figure out how to get into the rum business. And then we started asking, this is myself and my cousins, John and Leo Gonzalez. They're actually the ones that started the entire thing. They're the masters behind the flavoring and the branding. Dawn is an extremely good artist. And so she came up with the packaging and whatnot. But over the years,
who's the bad speller?
That's the patois in the name. So yeah, we don't say boy, we say boy.
Boy.
You gotta say boy, because if you don't say it right, then you don't sound rude enough. And we're rude with a little bit of class. That's
good. I love it.
So long story short, the stories were always about this rum, how rum has affected everybody and the history of the land and whatnot. And we heard stories of how some of our family had gone to Cuba and Costa Rica and other places. And I actually, at one point in time, went to Costa Rica and found gravestones of Wrights down there. So, the story started to become real, and we realized that there was more to the rum story than we thought. And we started digging out family recipes and whatnot. And Don and Leo, they're the ones that kind of put it all together and got A and B together. And next thing you know, we had rum. Or they had rum, and then they came to myself and said, hey, time to help out.
And that's what it is. From Jamaica to Cuba to Florida.
Yeah, because Don and I both live in Florida.
Yeah.
So, and James, my business partner, we're all out here in Florida. So Florida is the hub now, but all the recipes are old Jamaican recipes, mixed with a little bit of processing of how they used to process rum in Cuba. And then, of course, since we're based in the U.S., we had to add the Florida into it.
I found these great shots on your wonderful website.
Oh, yes. That's what I remember back when I was young. That's how it used to be.
Yeah, can you tell us what's happening, please, with those?
Well, you know, my father was my great grandfather and my grandfather were cattlemen. So as in time, things shifted from sugar. The Jamaican history was really sugar plantations, and there was a lot of slave plantations. But a lot of people don't realize that in the South there wasn't really a lot of that going on. And my family, for example, they started selling sugar and what do you call it? There's another. It was indigo. Indigo was what they call it. It was used for making ink, and so those were the big products that were coming out of the South. And over time, things shifted where they started getting more and more. As you saw that last picture, there were cattle. Cattle would carry all the sugar to the plantations, and that's what you see in the picture there. And the fields were all about sugar, indigo, and then over time it turned into bauxite and some of the things that we have now in Jamaica. Now it's all tourism. But my grandfather was a cattleman. That was his main.
I have been known on occasions to have a pina colada.
Okay.
How is a pina colada with your coconut rum? Oh,
there he is.
Look at that. And look at that. It says made in the Bahamas. That must be in the Bahamas. I wonder if
that's in Nassau. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've been known to have one as well, actually. Sorry, John, we did it last minute. We didn't get to talk to you about that. That was on my first ever cruise, could you believe?
Wow.
On the Princess Emerald in the Caribbean, you know. Wonderful, yeah.
And what's funny is when I heard we were doing this from London, I said, you know what? I'm going to change it up today and I'm going to have tea.
Cheers. Do you know why I've got tea, Patrick? This is tea I have in there, yeah? Absolutely. Right. The reason why I've got tea, and you've changed it up, very, very sadly, is I have this empty glass because I don't have any alcohol. I don't have a bottle of rum that I can be drinking with. I'm devastated.
Quickly.
I have Kentucky rum in my glass.
Yeah. Okay. But I will cheers, Patrick, tea from England. Yes. Absolutely, I love it.
Spirits.
Yeah. Patrick, is that Rude Boy tea you're drinking? Yeah.
Rude Boy tea. Yeah.
No, there's no Rude Boy in this one. But it's just as good, I tell you. So to answer your question, Chili, our coconut rum is a different thing. A lot of the coconut flavors that you get out there in the rum world is more of a liqueur. So you end up getting thicker, almost. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't want to badmouth about anybody that's out there, but
syrupy. It's syrupy.
Really more syrupy. Yes.
Yeah.
Ours is completely different. Smooth. When you try, everybody that tries it, the first word that comes out of their mouth is, "Wow, it's smooth," and it's 35% alcohol, 70 proof, of just ultimate flavor and smoothness. So would
I drink this like on the rocks?
A lot of people are drinking it on the rocks. Yes, on the rocks. Now, again, mix it with some pineapple, and that's why we're the spirit of the Caribbean, because you just get it instantly. But it's the coconut rum right now is definitely our number one seller. The other two rums, our white rum and our dark rum, they tend to be more of a Jamaican blended flavor.
Okay.
So I find that a lot of the people that love the older aged rums, they tend to like the white rum and the gold rum more. The coconut rum is more of a newer flavor. When you think of Jamaican aged rum, you don't get the coconut flavor that we're talking about now. Right. And then because we deal with everything sugarcane, our vodka is actually made of sugarcane as well.
Oh, so it's a real sugar-made product, not made from grain or anything.
Nope. All of it is sugarcane. Wow. Very different.
I would love to sample. I don't drink anymore, but I would love to sample that vodka.
Yes, we'll have to make sure you guys get some samples for sure.
Yeah, that would be so.
Does that include England, by the way, Patrick? Does it go to England?
By the time it gets there, it'll be aged, so it'll be that much better.
Yeah, it becomes by slow boat. Yeah, fantastic.
There you are.
And just a little background for our readers. You know, vodka in the old days, conceptually, was made with potatoes. They got the sugar from the starch from the potatoes, and then literally everybody in America now is making vodka from grain. It's the cheapest way you can buy the raw materials to make alcohol, to make vodka, pure alcohol. But now he's talking about making it from sugar. Because of course, to make alcohol, you need the yeast, and the yeast, I always say when I used to be making wine, the yeast eats the sugar and it pees alcohol and it farts carbon dioxide. That's what it does.
That's not me.
No, this is cable TV. This is cable. We can say that. But that's what it does. And so he's taking pure cane sugar and using, I'm sure, a yeast that they've developed over perhaps even a century of time to get exactly what they want to make absolutely pure grain alcohol. And that is a very interesting thing to me. We're in the hemp business up here. You don't know that, but I'm in the hemp business up in Minnesota. So
he's a pot farmer, I call him.
Yeah, he is.
I should have had some samples here today. But anyway, so chemistry wise, I'm really interested.
But as you know, vodka also is supposed to be odorless and flavorless.
Pure, yeah. But if you're starting with sugar, you have the highest chance of having absolute. Oh, sorry.
You're letting out the trade secrets. The secret is not to cut you, but the secret
is.
No,
that's fine. That's fine.
It actually has a little bit of a flavor because of that.
Okay.
It has this little sweetness. We're talking about sugar cane.
Yeah.
Now, Patrick,
it's very different than a potato, so it actually has a little flavor.
I get it. I get it.
Now, I'd like to know, Patrick, have you managed to export any of your vodka to Russia?
No, but I do know a friend of mine who actually has a Russian brand, and every time he comes by, he wants the Rude Boy. So I just leave it at that.
So if you're watching in Russia, and you never know, because this show goes all over the world, you never know where people are watching, afterwards. If you're watching in Russia, make sure you try that Rude Boy vodka,
Yes, definitely. And we're not shipping to out of the country as of yet, but we do on our website, you can order bottles. So if I remember correctly, it's 32 or 33 states that we're allowed to ship to. And that's just because of the U.S. laws or the way that they are, that shipping from state to state becomes problematic. So we have a company that we work with, and we have our online store now where you can go to the website and actually buy bottles. So if you're within one of those states, you can purchase it or deliver it right to your house, as long as you're 21 and older. They'll verify it. And
sorry, Chili, what if you're in the UK?
What if you're in the UK? Well, right now, that's actually one of our biggest push right now for next year, is to try to get outside and get out to some of the more of the Caribbean islands. Why, again, to bring it back to the cruise lines, because we both feel that the cruise lines are coming back after COVID, and it's a beautiful way to get people to love our brand. Why? Because they're captive on the ship. When people go to another country, they always want to try something different. And we're figuring if we can get them early while they're on the ship before they get there, they need to have it when they're also there. So we've been looking at a couple different islands in the Caribbean. That's where we're starting, just because that's where our base is. Jamaica being number one, and Puerto Rico coming very soon. Some of the Virgin Islands are all targets. But from there, once we go through that avenue, we're trying to go through the islands to get to the UK or to Europe. Because if we just go straight to Europe, now we're talking about shipping problems and legal issues and back and forth. Whereas
if I want to get a bottle of your wonderful Rude Boy rum, for instance, you're going to have to float it in the sea with a message in it with my address, and then let it go across the Atlantic, and hopefully when it arrives in Southampton, somebody will see it and then send it to me.
We'll see what I can do. I'll check with our lawyers and find out how to get it to you.
Relabel it and say that it's hand sanitizer.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll let it right in, right?
Yeah, let it right in. Yeah.
All right, your distillery is actually in Tampa, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. For all the products?
Yes.
It's all in the same facility?
Everything is made in the same facility. We're actually made in one of the facilities that has big contracts, including Bacardi and some of the other ones. So we're using some really good, smart guys that know what they're doing, and they keep it clean. We just have interested. We haven't even really let this out there yet, but we've been distilling and using a brand new system that has charcoal filtration. And it's a step up for us because it just makes better filtration. So even the vodka, we were doing it 5 times, and now we're doing it 6 times.
But what you're using is Jamaican recipes. Is that correct?
Yes.
It's everything's from the Jamaican recipes from your ancestors.
Some of the processing is from the way they did stuff in Cuba, but yes.
Oh, some from Cuba as well. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because the way that my cousin and them kind of put it together, they wanted new flavors. They didn't want to do it like some of the older brands that have been around. I mean, Jamaica, for example, has lots of rum. The biggest, Appleton and some of those guys are huge rum companies that have been around hundreds of years and trying to compete on that level. I mean, these guys have 200-year or 100-year-old rum that they're selling. That's a very difficult and different market to try to get into. So we had to keep things as original as we could, but also change the flavor to more of a modern style, which is how the coconut rum came about.
So what year did it start, actually? What year was the first bottle out there?
First bottle started in 2013.
Okay.
2013, but we just started, I would say end of 2018 is when James Larson and I came aboard, which is an interesting story because neither one of us were in alcohol. James and I are both in finance.
This is James?
This is James. Yeah, that's my partner. What's up, James?
Hey, James.
Yeah, he's a longtime financier, into pretty much everything finance. He does personal finance for many, many years. And we sat down together. We were actually partnering up on some finance work. And when the opportunity came, because my cousin had come to me a few times and said, I need some more help with this. You can't run a company with just 1 or 2 people. And I was always in business. I had actually started a business years ago, which is where I got a lot of the connections to Jamaica. I was actually making a clothing line and surfboard company. So that's a whole nother story. But I met James through that, and we were both in finance. And so when I came, he was a natural person. When they came to me, he said, "Hey, do you guys want to look at this and do this?" And I said, "James, take a look at this," because he's very well versed in finance. And he said, "Man, you're crazy. This is where the money's at. Let's go do this." And long story short, we both shifted our gears and went full bore into spirits, and we've been hitting the Caribbean and living the Caribbean life, tiki bar life, ever since.
Must be terrible.
Wow.
It's a rough way to go.
In South Florida, there's so many tiki bars, and I have cruise lines right around the corner, so we can take a cruise right out of West Palm. There's a cruise, 2-day, 3-day cruises right out of West Palm. Literally, I don't even have to drive more than 10 miles to get on a cruise ship.
Yeah, their CEO's been on our show before.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, we've talked to Bahamas Paradise.
Yeah,
a couple times actually.
Yeah.
So
is that where you sailed out of when you went to?
Oh no, I've been on 48 cruises or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been cruising since the 70s.
Don't you see him sway? Don't you see him swaying back and forth?
Yeah.
He never quite gets over it.
That's the 1870s, by the way, he's talking about. Yeah.
At least it's not wrong to do it.
So I could make a reference to Where You Can Kiss, Pete, but we won't do that on here.
So actually, have you got? You're talking about you want to get it onto cruise lines, really? Actual cruise line? At the moment, have you got any deals set up with any of the cruise lines?
No, outside of the FRS cruise line. There's actually a new cruise line going to the Bahamas now. Things really took a hit with COVID.
Yeah,
we had been in talks with a lot of different options, and everybody just went, "Whoa, back off."
So maybe Virgin Voyages that start up. They haven't started cruising yet, but if you're talking to them going to the island where you first started, that would be quite an interesting start, wouldn't it?
Might as well take it on. I mean, they got to sell alcohol anyways, and
So it's Shane. If you're watching by any chance, Shane, because we had Shane Riley.
There you go.
He was vice president of international sales for Virgin Voyages. Was one of our guests, and
Excellent.
So I guess Shane will be sailing there, or Richard. You never know if Richard on his island happens to be watching.
It would be great, and we're not just a startup little brand here. We actually have won some awards. We won 3 awards this year. We actually entered our coconut rum first. That was the first one we tried. We entered into the San Francisco World Spirits Awards. I want to make sure I say it correctly and give them the credit. The 2020 World Spirits Award based out of San Francisco, and we actually took gold. Top coconut. So we took a spirit. We took silver in there, which there was no coconut above us, so we ended up getting a silver award there. Top coconut. And we also entered the bartender awards, which is a huge one for us because bartenders are the ones that are out there pushing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And we placed there as well. And so, I mean, we're winning awards. We're doing well. Both our vodka and coconut rum won at the bartender awards.
It's exciting times. Exciting times for you guys. Once we start sailing again, once people can start traveling again, you know, Rude Boy Spirits, the spirit of the Caribbean, as you say. Can't wait.
That's what we're hoping. That's what we're hoping. I mean, because that's what we are. I mean, if you actually get to see some of our events that we do, you know, we have reggae events. We do reggae brunches at some of our restaurants that are carrying us. We have over 150 in Florida alone, accounts that are actually, you know, consistently selling and putting it on their menus and whatnot. And, you know, we go there, we set up a reggae band, and we just, you know, we give away Rude Boy, or we do a special drink, and people are just loving it. They enjoy all of it. So there's no reason why I want to put us on there.
I can definitely imagine the party boats, Carnival Cruise Line, you know, that having a wonderful time with it. I really can.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing is being from Jamaica, we know a lot of their artists, reggae artists. Yeah. So we have connections. You know, if you want to get big reggae acts in there, let's do it. We'll get them in. We'll put some rum on the shelf and get people partying. That's what this is all about, having a good time.
I have to agree with one of our listeners, Sunny, who's one of my regulars. She says coconut rum. Oh my God, yes, I have to get this. Sunny, I'm with you. You and I are going to get together on a cruise with some of that coconut rum.
Yes.
The way I would serve it would be, as a former bartender, I would serve it like a Black Russian with I'd float cream on the top of it, because then you get your pina colada kind of flavor there too, with a pineapple stick in it. But I would, you know how the Black Russian, you float cream on the top. Well, I would float real cold cream on the top of it with a pineapple stick, and it'd be a whole new drink.
You know, and it's funny because there's a lady, great mixologist, and she actually did something similar, but she did it with, I want to say it was Godiva chocolate.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
And man, I'm telling you, I mean, it's just a beautiful looking drink. You almost don't even want to drink it because it looks so nice, you know?
Sure.
Yeah, so you got your own special Rude Boy cocktails as such.
We have a few on our website, but we're encouraging mixologists to just try the rum and get creative. You know, so at a lot of the different restaurants, we've actually got signature drinks specifically at the restaurant, because we kind of focus on the restaurants more than the liquor stores at this point in time. But we're starting to ramp that up now because people just want to buy bottles, so we have to make the bottles available. But when we first got started, it was easier for us to try to branch out by getting on-premise buyers to you know, the restaurants, basically, to say, hey, you know, we have 15 bartenders and the bartenders love it. So if the bartenders love it, I'm like, hey, that's 15 people that are out there pushing our brand. Right. And so it was a big help for us to go that route. And so we encourage them to just get creative with it, make some new drinks, and a lot of them have made signature drinks.
Wow. My son represents a lot of the bourbon industry, and many of the bourbon guys do the same thing when they come through with a new blend or a new brand. They do much the same way to get it. That's how I started drinking Elijah Craig. I got to know the guy that was pushing Elijah Craig in a bar that I went to with my son out in Kentucky. Okay. And to this day, I still drink nothing but Elijah Craig.
Well, you know, if you find something you love, there's no reason to change it, right?
Yep.
Wow. So if anybody watching this, just to go through it, if you're in the United States and USA and you want to get some of your drinks, you go onto your website, and the website's there. It says www.rudeboyspirits.com. You go onto your website and you can order. What's the minimum order that you can do?
No minimum. We actually have a special that if you buy 3, you get free shipping.
And Sonny says, do you have a sample combo, for instance?
We don't have a sample combo on the website. That's probably something we should do, but it just cost prohibitive at this point. But that's why we try to have it in the restaurants. if depending on where you're at, especially Florida and California. Something I didn't mention is that we are dual license right now in California and Florida. So we're actually getting ready to launch out California in a big way in the next month here, where we have some distributors that are going to be pushing to get it into restaurants.
I would just say to Sonny, I disagree with Patrick. They do have a sample. Just order a case of each. Yeah, a case of each. That's the perfect way to sample.
There we go. I will.
And Sonny, as soon as you do that, I'm heading to Mississippi and we'll sample it together.
Well, okay, I'll try the 3. Okay, Sonny's going to give it a go. Now, obviously, that was before I recommended a case of each, Sonny. But yeah, Sonny's going to give it a go. Absolutely, yeah. She says, "Good luck with your products. Sound fantastic."
Thank you, Sonny. And by the way, just remember there is 4 products. So if you want to try them all, throw the 4th one in there.
Just to clarify the products as well. I'm just going to go back. You have to excuse me.
There we go.
There we go. Just talk us through those products again, please, Patrick. Would you? So we're clear on all.
On the left, we have the most famous one, which is the coconut rum, which is a 70 proof, 35% alcohol, sugarcane, all natural rum. We have the next one is our what we call Irie Gold rum. It's an ultra premium rum because of the way it's produced. That is 80 proof. Then we have our white rum, which is 80 proof. And we have our sugarcane vodka, which is also an ultra premium vodka as well. And that's the sugarcane vodka.
Sonny says, by the way, case of each, I'll be offline for months. Yeah.
They don't call it Rude Boy for no reason. It's strong. It'll give you a kick.
Absolutely. During the quarantine, people want bottles. No judgment from the recycle guys.
Okay.
Yeah. And Emily, first I will try each bottle. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Emily. We love
Emily,
that.
you can't drink the coconut rum and then go kayaking. It's not going to work, dear.
The coconut you might be
stuck her upside down. We did a show with her yesterday or day before yesterday on kayaking.
Okay. Just don't kayak and drink, just in case.
Yes. Emily's asked a question that I wanted to ask. Emily, well done. My favorite cocktail. Which rum do you recommend for pina colada?
Definitely the coconut. It's going to change the flavor a little bit, but the coconut, I mean, it's such a different flavor. Once you try it, you're going to be hooked. There's a lot of people that are used to that thicker syrupy. I'm not naming the name, but thicker syrupy rum out there, coconut rum, and this is not that. Very, very refreshing.
I just want this to be a pina colada with your coconut rum. I'm just going to have to use my imagination. Oh, wow.
I haven't had a pina colada since I was in the Bahamas last. And you guys know how long that's been.
Wow.
Hey, Pete, do you know what this is?
No, tell me.
That's the world's smallest violin playing My Heart Bleeds for you.
Well, I don't care because I'm going to join Patrick with my tea, which is going slightly cold, by the way, Patrick. I'm not sure about yours.
At least you got tea. My water bottle's even empty. I mean,
so what is the future, Patrick? Because you've got your 4 products at the moment. I'm guessing. What are you thinking about? Expansion. Where do you see you expanding product-wise?
Definitely. I mean, we need to expand throughout the U.S. But again, right now, our focus honestly is starting to push out of Florida. We need to just dominate Florida and California as our main. And then from there, we're looking to the Caribbean. I mean, the Caribbean is our second home. Both James and I love the Caribbean, and there's just so much options there, and it fits so well with what we do that it's a natural no-brainer to get down to the Caribbean.
I mean, I can't wait to maybe one day in the future we can do a show, guys. Yeah, the Cruise Amigos in the Caribbean live with Patrick, with our pina coladas and the reggae music playing.
Yes.
Wouldn't that just be wonderful?
Let's do it. I'm there.
We've got to do it, haven't we? We have to do that. We need to stay in touch with you. We need to do that show.
The only problem is John's over here doing hula dances. He's in the wrong part of the world.
You dance the way you want. I'll dance the way I want.
He danced to a different beat, huh? It's all good.
Oh, yeah, he does that.
It's all good. Once you get some rum in you, you'll start to, you'll feel it just like everyone else.
Sounds wonderful, Patrick. Thank you so much. Love it.
All right, Patrick, I have to thank you for being with us today. It's been a fun show and something that we got a chance to learn something new and something to look forward to in the future. And I hope you guys out there that are watching this and those of you that will watch it in the future, go to his website and check it out. It's Rude Bwoy. That's spelled R-U-D-E like you'd think, and then B-W-O-Y.
That's right.
RudeboySpirits.com.
And it all started on a cruise ship, which is a wonderful start.
All of it on a cruise ship. Give thanks for the cruise ships, man. I'm telling you.
Thanks, absolutely.
If it wasn't for the cruise ships, we wouldn't be here today.
And hopefully soon we'll all be back to cruising. That would be marvelous for you, Patrick, and for us.
As they say in Jamaica, free up the cruise, man. Free it up.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Again, thank you, Patrick, for being with us. Guys, it's good to see you as always. And all you guys in the audience, we appreciate y'all being here. And we'll see you next time on Cruise Amigos live from London.